Welcome to 7shifts Academy, guided lessons for restaurant workers, owners, and operators to gain the knowledge they need to grow their businesses and succeed in their careers. 7shifts is the all-in-one team management platform built for restaurants. With our tools, restaurant managers can work more efficiently and improve performance, freeing up more time and energy to focus on delivering great service to their customers. In this lesson, we are going to talk about how you can improve restaurant team communications, what to communicate and when, and what tools to use for maximum effectiveness. So let's get started. Good restaurant communication is a measure of how your staff works with each other and also how you work with your staff. The following are steps that you can take to improve team communications at your restaurant. Step 1. Run pre-shift meetings. It's time to bust out that clipboard and write a checklist. The pre-shift meeting is a valuable management tool that lets you get your staff ready for the coming shift. Keep these short and sweet, 10 minutes tops. You don't want to lull your staff into a tedious meeting right before a long shift. Instead, you should hit all of the following points. Any promotions you have running, any changes in policy, or remind them of especially pertinent policies. Featured items for the day. Field questions. As a restaurant manager, this is your time to shine. This is when you can transition from a boss to a coach by keeping your staff informed and encouraged. While you do want to be in the driver's seat for these meetings, you don't want to do all the talking. It's imperative to give your staff a voice so that they can bring any issues to your attention. Sadly enough, approximately 65% of U.S. employees are not engaged at work. This stems from management not taking time out of their day to facilitate discussion and promote task engagement. Step 2. Give positive reinforcement and recognition. Everyone seeks approval. It's something that's been hardwired into our heads since infancy. One of the most common mistakes a restaurant manager can make is perpetuating the belief that positive reinforcement is best received as a tangible gift. Not only are the best kinds of positive reinforcement more effective, they're also free. In fact, positive reinforcement and feedback are proven to stimulate the same neural pathways in your brain that cash stimulates. A simple thank you or a pat on the back has proven to lead to increased levels of productivity, increased sales, employee loyalty, and improved workplace morale. From a psychological standpoint, positive behavior is a learned trait. Exercising positive reinforcement allows your staff to identify when they're doing something right. Over time, these habits become second nature as the person begins to associate that action with the feeling of being emotionally rewarded. Step 3. Open door policy. A simple solution to a common communication problem. Keeping the door to your office closed relays the message that you don't want to be disturbed. It's just like body language. Keeping your door shut is the equivalent of crossing your arms and throwing on headphones while speaking to someone. You could be missing out on valuable feedback from your staff and new opportunities to connect with your employees in a time of need. Keeping your door closed creates a barrier between a manager and their subordinates and can convey disinterest, secretive behavior, and untrustworthiness. Keeping that door open is proven to lead to closer working relationships, increased accessibility, and greater quality of communication. In fact, open door policies are the fastest way to access information. Studies show closed doors will inhibit serious and even urgent situations from being brought to the manager's attention. You can also try taking your open door policy digital with 7shifts employee engagement and shift feedback feature. Gather employee feedback directly after their shifts to keep a pulse on employee satisfaction. Step 4. Use team building activities to create trust. It's important to establish trust among teammates and make sure that there's a strong bond. Your restaurant team may be divided up into departments, but it's important not to forget that you're one team with one goal. That only works with a high level of trust, and the best way to get there is by putting time and effort into team-building activities. These can take many forms. Here are some examples. Team outings like a dinner, picnic, or sports game. Friendly competitions like cocktail making. A charity event. Staff meals before shift starts. For example, at Andolini's in Tulsa, Oklahoma, owner Mike Bausch hosts an annual Andomania event. The Olympic-style events have each of their 6 locations in friendly competition for restaurant tasks like pizza dough making. Trust among your team and stronger communication makes your restaurant work better too. Step 5. Use dedicated tools. Another way to encourage and strengthen staff communication is to use dedicated tools. Create a place like a group message or chat server wholly for communication among your team. When communication is in a centralized location, it's more accessible for team members and ensures they can still talk to their team without sacrificing personal privacy. Your team probably won't want to be part of one massive group text. Use a dedicated tool like Slack or Discord, or combine team chats with scheduling software like 7shifts. With 7shifts built-in communication tools, it's never been easier to create a dedicated team channel for all of your employees to chat. Send group announcements to keep the whole team in sync, or send private, secure one-on-one messages to teammates. You can also easily create group chats based on departments or roles on your schedule for easy collaboration. By keeping your team communication in one centralized place like 7shifts, it makes it easier to keep all of work in one place. Step 6. Encourage honesty and transparency. Communication among your team isn't always going to be easy. Encourage honesty and transparency among your team members to make sure everyone feels comfortable speaking their mind. Start by leading with your own example. If a manager isn't transparent in their communication and isn't honest and straightforward, your team will adapt that style. It's important to address the hard stuff head-on and not sugarcoat it to avoid hurting feelings or protecting others. The last thing you want is for your team to not speak up about an issue, even a small one. Those small issues can erode trust in your team and lead to unengaged employees who leave. 7. Get employee feedback on the team's communication. Communication is a two-way street, and just because you feel it's open and honest doesn't mean your team may feel the same way. In the spirit of honesty and transparency, check in with your team often. The best way to do this is to give them options for how they want to respond. Some may be comfortable giving feedback to management in person, but understandably, some are more open when feedback is anonymous, no matter how high the level of trust on your team. Give your team ample opportunities to give feedback on communication, and be sure to understand and address it. Next, let's discuss what to communicate and when. Not all restaurant communication needs to come from the top to the entire team. Sometimes it needs to be funneled to management only. Part of team communication is to know what to communicate to your team and when to do it. Communication with management teams. Managers have different responsibilities than the team at large and need their own place to communicate amongst each other and to ownership or upper management. The best place to do this is with manager logbook software. This is a place for managers to keep notes on every shift, eventually building an archive of what's happening in your business. It's a place to store notes on how the team is doing, which processes are going well and which aren't, and even how the team is communicating. You could use a physical book for this, but a digital, mobile-friendly manager logbook makes it even better. It's easily shared from manager to manager via email, and it's searchable, making it easier to identify trends in your restaurant. Communication with all staff. It's important to keep all of your staff informed of what's going on in your restaurant. Use a direct line to communication with the entire team to share the following: new staff joining, a change to operating hours, menu updates, health and safety policy changes. With a communication tool, owners and operators can send an announcement blast to their entire team at once to share critical information. It even includes read receipts and reminders to ensure they've received the message. One thing to keep in mind when sending announcements is frequency. Any more than one a day, and it can become cluttered and reduce the likelihood of staff continuing to read them. Thank you for watching. To receive updates on new videos, please subscribe to 7shifts YouTube channel and check out 7shifts Academy. And don't forget to check the video description for links to other useful resources.